evening, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dalsan TV English News. My name is Abdulrazak Ali and we have a lot lined up for you on this day of 15th October 2022. But first, let's have a look at the highlights. Somalia Under-17 national football team won their first council for East and Central Africa Football Association title with a 3-1 over South Sudan Under-17 football team at Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa. Somali government has warned it will revoke licenses and close down businesses or companies which transfer money or make any payments to the Al-Shabaab group. First Somali Kenyan person has been appointed as Kenya Presidential Palace spokesperson. Good evening once again and welcome back to Dalsan TV English News. My name is Abdulrazak Ali. Somalia's Under-17 national team won their first council for East and Central Africa Football Association CECAFA title with a 3-1 over South Sudan Under-17 football team at Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa on Saturday afternoon. Based on the multiple scoring opportunity they created, but Somalia's boys had the most opportunities. On Wednesday, Somalia dispatched Uganda 8-7 on penalties following a 1-1 draw at the Abebe Bikila Stadium. Minister of Youth and Sports of the Federal Government of Somalia, Mohamed Barre Mahmoud, and other government officials watched the game in the stadium to provide moral support to the nation's boys who displayed outstanding performance. Somalia clinched the top spot for next year's Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Algeria. Somalia government has warned it will revoke licenses and close down businesses or companies which transfer money or make any payments to the Al-Shabaab militant group. Somali government has warned it will revoke licenses and close down businesses or companies which transfer money or any payments to the Al-Shabaab militant group. The Ministry of Trade and Commerce said today it will take action against businesses that aid Al-Shabaab activities by providing them with funds. The ministry added that it will confiscate the property of companies known to be owned or have representatives from Al-Shabaab.
marka waxaan rabaa inaan shirki jaraa'id aan idin dulmaro waraaqdan waxay si toos ah ugu socotaa ganacsatada Soomaaliyeed guud ahaan qaybaheeda kala duwan haday ahaan lahayd ganacsatada beeraha ganacsatada xoolaha ganacsatada warshadleyda ganacsatada kalluumaysiga ganacsatada tamarta iyo biyaha.
The directive follows President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's announcement in July that the government will also target Al-Shabaab financing to cut off its lifeline. Al-Shabaab finances its activities mostly through forced taxation of traders and transporters. A report by Mogadishu-based security think tank Hiral Institute in 2020 indicated that Al-Shabaab collects up to $11 million per month, with more than half of this coming from the capital, Mogadishu. The think tank also said in a recent report that the militant group spent $24 million on weapons. The directive comes a day after Somalia marked 6 years since October 17, 2027 truck bombing that killed about 600 people and maimed over 100 others in Mogadishu's Zobe Junction. Now elsewhere, the first Somali Kenyan has been appointed as the Kenya Presidential Palace spokesperson. In a statement by outgoing head of public service Joseph Kinyua, former Citizen television news anchor Hussein Mohamed was nominated as the State House spokesperson, replacing Kanze Dena.
First Somali Kenya person has been appointed as Kenya's Presidential Palace spokesperson. In a statement by outgoing head of public service Joseph Kinyua, former Citizen television news anchor Hussein Mohamed was nominated as the State House spokesperson, replacing Kanze Dena Mararo. It is notified that His Excellency William Ruto has on October 14th made various appointments to the senior ranks of the Executive Office of the President, Kinyua announced. Hussein will now be charged with making statements on behalf of Ruto and issuing updates on various government projects as assigned by the head of state. He will also be in charge of coordinating digital messaging, research, branding, and press at the State House. Hussein was born in Nairobi at Moi Air Base in Eastleigh to an Air Force soldier and his wife. He went to Moi Air Base Primary School before joining Jamhuri High School for secondary education. He then studied for a diploma in broadcast journalism at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication before joining the University of Nairobi for an undergraduate degree in political science and communications. He started as an intern with Citizen TV in 2007 before being officially employed by the new agency.
Somalia's National Army Forces have recaptured a strategic district linking the country's southern and central regions after the Al-Shabaab withdrew its militants on Saturday.
Government forces recaptured a strategic district linking the country's southern and central regions after the Al-Shabaab withdrew its militants on Saturday. Residents in Hawadley district, located on the outskirts of the Balad district, 40 kilometers 25 miles north of the Somali capital Mogadishu, said they saw Somali military enter and seize the district after Al-Shabaab fighters completed their withdrawal. The district has a bridge connecting the country's central and lower regions, where the group used to transfer goods and equipment to their militants in central and southern areas. Colonel Abukar Bono, the supervisor of the military unit that took over the district, said that the Somali National Army would establish an operating base in the area to advance the security of the Jowhar and Balad districts. Militants had earlier reversed gains made by security forces in the central region over the past weeks, recapturing the key towns of Mogokori, Bo'o, and Nurfanah in what politicians from the region blamed on the little resources allocated for the operation and refusal by other clans to join the mobilization against Al-Shabaab. Militants had earlier reversed gains made by security forces in the central region over the past weeks, recapturing the key towns of Mogokori, Bo'o, and Nurfanah in what politicians from the region blamed on the little resources allocated for the operation and refusal by other clans to join the mobilization against Al-Shabaab. A military offensive on Al-Shabaab in the neighboring region of Middle Shabelle, which was promised by the government, has yet to gather pace despite dozens of military vehicles sent from Mogadishu to the town of Adale. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who was elected in May, had earlier vowed on all-out war against the Al-Qaeda affiliate. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who was elected in May, had earlier vowed on all-out war against the Al-Qaeda affiliate. Pro-government religious scholars, MPs, and other politicians warned that arming clan militias for a showdown with militants could plunge the country into further chaos, but proponents of the effort labeled those who made such a suggestion Al-Shabaab sympathizers. Somali government forces backed by the local pro-government militia groups have liberated over 40 villages and killed over 500 Al-Shabaab militants in the past weeks in operations in central Somalia. Somali government forces backed by the local pro-government militia groups have liberated over 40 villages and killed over 500 Al-Shabaab militants in the past weeks in operations in central Somalia.
Well, we have come to the end of Dalsan TV English News. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dalsan TV English News.